Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another great edition of my Grue Rume Show. For the Grue Rume Show today, I got a very awesome guest, and she's been doing this for a while now. She's a legend in the horror world, and I'm talking about Brinke Stevens. And I'm really looking forward to talking to her about her latest film that she's doing. It's a thriller film, and it's a true crime film, and it borders along the lines of horror, which she's known for. And we're going to talk all about the new film. And I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters. I am the host of the Grue Rume Show. And my interview, Brinke, be coming up very soon. This is my Grue Rume, and as always, my gruelings. Welcome to my nightmare. So stay tuned. All right. Welcome back to Grue. And thank you so much for being my guest. I appreciate it.
I just couldn't stay away, Rocco. I had to see your lovely face again.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's very nice seeing you once again, and you're an awesome person, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. And I'm doing a bunch of podcasts to help promote a new movie I'm in called Dorothea, which is playing in theaters right now. So that's kind of unusual. Most of my movies go direct to streaming, but
Yeah.
it's getting a theatrical run, as did the last film by the same director. Chad Ferrin's the director. The movie was called Ed Kemper. So he's on a roll. He's doing some great stuff. And if Dorothy is playing in a theater near any of you guys, go out and see it on the big screen. It's an amazing movie.
Nice, nice. And what I was going to ask you, but since you already worked with him, how how did you find out about the film and get cast? I mean, you have worked for him before, so I'm sure that helped.
Yes, yes. I've been in two of his movies now, and I love working with him. He's brilliant as a director
Mhm.
and kind of a rebel and just really talented. He does movies very quickly, but they're excellent. And the scripts are always really strange and skewed and bizarre. So he's always fun to work with. And I think it was on this movie or the first movie I did with him. I said, after a take, I said, "Were you happy with that?" And he said, "Well, if I wasn't, I would let you know." So I'm like, okay, if he doesn't say anything, it's good news. The way I got into these films and met Chad in the first place was thanks to Joe Castro, who's a special effects makeup artist as well as a writer, director, producer. I've known Joe since he was 16 years old. And
Wow.
that's a whole story in itself, which if you want to hear it, I'll tell you. But he recommended me to Chad because Joe and I have worked together on many movies. And I had to audition for it because there were many people involved and they wanted to, see what I could do. And that's rare also too, because I used to do a lot of auditions. And in the old days, we'd do it in person. You'd go to
Yeah.
the office and there'd be 400 other girls that looked just like you. And you'd sit for an hour or two and then never hear from them again. And then during COVID, it became the Zoom auditions, which was similar, where you put your makeup on and do a thing and then you never hear from them again. So I was really, really happy that Chad saw my audition and wanted to work with me. And Joe also did the special effects on both of these movies, as well as
Wow.
others for Chad. And I had a good death in Ed Kemper. I didn't have to get bloody, and that's something, after 40 years of some intense makeup and blood effects and slime and all of that. It's really nice when they just break your neck and you don't have to get covered in blood. And then in Dorothea, I played one of her victims. She's the killer granny, an older
Mhm.
woman who in the 80s ran a boarding house in Sacramento, California. And she would take in kind of down on their luck people and poison them and bury their bodies in the backyard. And then she would continue to cash their Social Security checks. So she was, a true horror story where,
Well, yeah.
yeah, she looked so innocent. And just did horrible things. It was amazing that she was capable of that. But the real life Dorothea, since this is a true crime story,
Yeah.
she had suffered a lot of abuse um, throughout her life. So she just kind of took it out on other people. But I played among her first victims. My name was Ruth Monroe. And my husband's in the hospital dying of cancer. So I get in the room in this boarding room that's close to the hospital, and she poisons me. So for a special effect, Joe just did a fake tongue for me and just stuck it in my mouth. And it's this swollen purple tongue. And he's got some, drool and saliva running down my face and some blood. But it was just the simplest special effect, and it was real fast, and it looked like a real tongue. So I was so happy that I just had minimal goo on me.
Oh wow, I mean, it's not awesome the way you died, but it's awesome that you didn't have to get all bloodied up.
Yeah, I appreciate that more and more, because I've been a victim so many times. And um, it's that blood, it's like I did a movie called Cross Hollow, I think it was called.
Okay.
And I was beset upon by cult members who all stabbed me with knives. So they start with, like flicking a little blood on me, and then it's like a bucket of blood being thrown on me. And we're out in the woods and it's freezing. And
Mm.
and the director's like, okay, moving on, and they all leave. And I'm like, hello? What do I do now? I can't go in the house. I'm too
No.
bloody. There's, what am I supposed to do? So luckily they had a sort of mud room because they had horses on the property. So I
Mhm.
guess it was a place to like wash your boots and stuff like that. So I was able to sort of shower off a lot of the blood. But, a lot of filmmakers just don't really think about the after effect. Oh, and I flew on a plane recently and I watched Final Destination
Yeah,
Bloodlines. Oh my God, was that a blood-soaked movie?
I know. I
Oh,
know that was a crazy film, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah. I love the Final Destination movies because you've got a sort of invisible killer. It's not a man who is mentally ill or
Mhm.
angry or whatever, seeking revenge. It's death. And then, they
Yeah.
always say you can't cheat death. So that whole scene at the beginning, I hope you guys have all seen it. It's an extraordinary scene where this tower is breaking apart and because of a penny that was thrown.
Oh,
And
that was yes.
yeah, and the way
Yeah.
people died, and when she, gets that thing, and then when her grandmother gets that thing, and it was like, I can't believe I'm seeing this.
I
So
know.
special effects have gotten really good. And I guess people just love seeing that kind of stuff. I wouldn't go so far as to say I enjoyed the Terrifier movies. They were
Yeah.
really hard to watch, and I'm not a big fan, although I appreciate the whole story of how they got it made. And
Hmm.
but it's just a little too much for me. It's too graphic, and when
Yeah.
it comes down to like sawing off limbs and stuff, I try to avoid that in
Yeah.
real life and in movies.
Oh no, yeah, of course. I mean those Terrifier films are brutal. Like
Yeah,
I think they have to be one of the most bloodiest, brutal like horror films that were ever
yeah,
made. Like I mean, there's three of them, a fourth one coming on the way.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, good for them that it was such a success. And
Hmm.
the Saw movies I found equally brutal in some
Yeah,
ways. And I suppose there's an audience for that. And I don't think people who watch them are deranged. I think that they just know that it's fake and they enjoy seeing the limits pushed on these kind of things. Like, how far can they go? And like, oh my God, I can't believe I just saw that.
yeah. It's like you want to be shocked. Like you're going in there and you're like, they can't do what I think they're gonna do, and then they go and do it, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, really? Like, I think it's like
Yeah.
about a shock too.
Yes, I think you're right. And, they've always compared horror movies to roller coaster rides.
Hmm.
where you scream and you let off tension and all of that. But yeah, I think the shock value, it's pretty intense. And I always liked the Final Destination series because it was so clever.
Yeah.
I don't remember the earlier movies being as blood soaked as this
No, it
as the
wasn't as,
last one. But like
yeah.
the was it number two that had that log truck in it?
Yes.
The accidents, and you're watching this and the sense of tension and dread of what's going to happen here and how is it going to happen. And it was just so fascinating. I love that kind of thing where it takes you a little off guard, like you're expecting one thing, but you get something else.
I like I remember the first Final Destination movie. I was scared to fly on the plane after that.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I was in a movie very early on my career called Soul Survivor. And
Hmm.
it was about a woman who keeps seeing dead people and after a plane crash. And, the plot is, of course, that she's died, but she just doesn't realize it. So I was not that woman. I was a peripheral character, but I have a great fondness for that movie.
Oh wow, nice, nice. And like when you're getting the script for like the first time, because you say like you worked with Chad plenty of times, and the scripts are always like a little weird, but they're also good. And when you get like one of his like scripts, like what's the first thought that goes through your mind when you're reading this like current film that that you're in?
The first thought that goes through my mind is it really possible to shoot it this way? Um, because, for example, in Dorothea, the lead actress, Susan Prever, is an extraordinary actress. She has a theatrical background. She played the mother in Kemper, Ed Kemper.
Mhm.
I played her best friend. And both of us were victims of Ed Kemper in that movie, but in this one, she was the killer and I was a victim. And at certain points in the movie, she breaks the fourth wall, which means she looks directly in the camera and says something. And it's so effective. You're told never to do that, that it takes the
Yeah.
audience out of the moment, but it's brilliant and everybody laughs. And there's so much humor. I watched it on the big screen at a theater and people were laughing in Dorothea. I mean, it's horrifying, but
Well, yeah.
it was so funny. And that's kind of Chad. He's a very serious filmmaker, but there's weird humor in his films. Like there's one guy that I guess she pushes him down the stairs and he's like, I can't move. And she says, no, of course not. Your back is broken, and she's all cheerful about it. So it was, a combination of Chad's great writing and Susan's incredible performance. I just love watching her.
Yeah, definitely. That's a funny line though. I have to say that.
Yeah, yeah. There was some great stuff in there. Did you see Ed Kemper by chance? The previous
Yes.
movie?
Hmm.
Yeah. It was I thought really well done. And
Yes, definitely.
the you honestly believe that Brandon Kirk is this guy. He's so
Hmm.
into the role. And then I saw him at a theater at the premiere of Kemper, and he's just this nice, likable, handsome guy. And I'm like, wow, he was really acting because I never saw him out of character. I only ever saw him as the killer.
Well,
So
yeah, of course.
yeah, I'm always surprised that people can change so much for a role.
Yeah, it's like all these like horror films. Like you get, I mean, the Jasons, Michaels, Freddy's, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and even like the guy who plays Terrifier, like the clown, like all these guys, they're like so nice.
Yes, yes, they really are. That's what I love about the horror industry is pretty much everybody's really nice.
Hmm.
And I just love that sense of community and family. Like I used to travel to conventions with Tony Todd and um, that whole group, Bill Moseley and
Yeah.
Sid Haig, and the guy that played the Monster and Jeepers Creepers.
Yes, yes.
And they were like, my big brothers. They would look after me, and I would watch their luggage while they would go get something to eat at the airport, and they would carry my
Right.
bags, and everybody really looked out for me, and I was just so happy about that. And
Yeah,
then, yeah, and then at the end of Final Destination, Bloodlines, when I saw Tony Todd,
mhm.
oh, I was so sad. And
I
then
know.
Memoriam at the end. It's just really painful to lose somebody. Sid Haig's death hit people pretty hard too, because he
Yeah.
was such a nice guy, such a fan favorite. But Tony, that was just, and then that little speech he gives about living every day, and it was heartbreaking.
Yeah, when I saw that in the movie theater and I saw Tony Todd and that speech, like I teared up because I'm like because Tony knew that he was dying and like that speech that he said was so it came from the heart and I think from what I read online they didn't even write that for him like that's with something that he said.
That would make sense. Yeah, if he knew that he was dying. He didn't look very good, so he must have been sick for a while. But yeah, when they did the in memoriam at the end, I got tears in my eyes too. And I was on an airplane, surrounded by people and like, I will not cry, I will not cry. But I sure felt like it. It was just it's painful to lose someone because we feel so close to these people
Mhm.
because they attend conventions and we can talk to these people and they're like our friends.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially you, because like you act with them, you travel with them, you go to all the different cons, and you get close, and when one of them goes, like it affects you.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And it's like um Reggie Bannister, for example, is having a hard time right now, and
Mhm.
they had a bunch of people go up in the mountains where he lives and have a little birthday celebration with him. But that's tough too, to lose your heroes.
Oh, I know, I know.
Yeah, he's still with us, but I know he's struggling.
Mm. And like going to the current film you're in, like it is a true crime film, but with a little twist that Chad puts in there. And when you're getting ready to do like this kind of film, like do you go back and like look up the crime? Like do you like see like everything that happened?
Yes, especially for Kemper because I had a really big role in that as the mother's
Mhm.
best friend. So I'm in it in a number of different scenes over time, and I really studied the woman that I portrayed. She didn't really look like me, but in those days nobody did because they smoked and drank, and she was younger than me but looked a lot older. And but they did my hair, and that's what I love about the period films. In Dorothea, I don't look like myself at all. I'm amazed anybody would recognize me in it. They pushed my hair back off my forehead, which I love having bangs because I have
Yeah.
a very high forehead. So yeah, they took my bangs away on that one and put my hair up, and I was wearing a sort of business suit that was appropriate to the time period, the 80s. And that really helps you get into a character. And I had to have a lot of emotion because supposedly my husband's in the hospital dying of stage
Mhm.
4 cancer. So I really worked on that privately when I was rehearsing myself at home and stuff to try to feel that and bring that to the part. I get so many different kinds of roles. I mean, you can say, oh, I'm
Yeah.
a victim a lot, but it's all different. You're a victim in the end, but you're a real person. You have a role to play. And, it's good to get into that. I'm about to shoot a new movie next month up near Fresno, California called Midnight Maniac. and it is a wonderful role. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Oh,
I
nice.
play a final girl. I'm the sole survivor of a serial killer, and I put him in the hospital in a coma, but I haven't killed him. So he comes out of his coma and comes after me a second time. And we have this big showdown in the end, and I end up killing him with a shotgun. Now, the interesting thing is that this actor that plays the killer, I killed him once before with a shotgun in another movie. So I've got to write to him and tell him we've got to stop meeting like this. Um, but you know, he's a big guy, and he always plays killers because of his size.
Yeah.
And yeah, so weapon of choice, shotgun. But the first time I killed him in a different movie, I didn't realize it had such a kick. And they put a folded up dish towel under my shirt where I'm holding the shotgun, and I
Oh,
bruised. That whole thing just bruised horribly from the
oh
kick.
my God.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a real gun firing blanks or something. And
Wow.
yeah, it was, I was amazed. So I got to be real careful on this one. So we're talking about wardrobe, and nowadays we wardrobe our own movies for the most part. Well, I was really happy in Dorothea and Ed Kemper because they were period films. They provided the wardrobe and it was
Yeah.
wonderful, and the period cars. But usually we have to bring our own clothes. So for the scene at the end where I killed a guy with a shotgun, I said, "What do you envision me wearing?" And he said, "Something that looks good with a shotgun." And he's like, a black leather jacket, you know, tight black jeans. And I'm like, okay, I gotcha. I know what you want. So I have to raid my closet and see if I have any of that stuff.
Nice. Did you wind up having it?
Well, I've got choices. You know, what I do is I try to give directors choices on wardrobe. So
Hmm.
I'll do my makeup and I'll put on an outfit and set my timer on my cell phone for 10 seconds. And I'll photograph myself at home and then change clothes, set the timer again, and shoot that outfit. And then I'll send all the photos to the director and say, "Do you like any of these?" And sometimes I'm really surprised by what they pick. I'm certain that they'll choose a particular outfit because it's my favorite, but they want something completely different. So
Oh,
you never
wow.
know, and that's why you give them choices.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. No.
Even in the old days, like the 80s, we wardrobed our own movies. Like I was thinking of Nightmare Sisters, and
Yeah.
the clothes that Linnea and I wore were from my closet. All of them.
Really?
Yeah, except for the little maid's outfit. I think she had that, but
Okay.
when we're the nerds, it was all my clothing. So yeah, you know, you do what you have to do. We often do our own makeup. We used to have makeup artists, but budgets got smaller, so you do what you have
Did,
to do.
do they still have people on set like doing the makeup yet?
Yeah, I think I did have a makeup artist on both of Chad's movies. So again,
Yeah.
kudos to him because these are relatively low budget movies that are just so good that they play in theaters. And he's got a good support, you know, network behind him. Then they'll go on VOD and all that streaming. So yeah, they had a wardrobe person, makeup and hair, you know, a special effects guy, Joe Castro, that was excellent. So
Nice.
yeah, I liked it. It was he really um you see all of the budget on screen.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely, and it's awesome. Like you were saying, probably most of the sets, like you bring your own clothes, you do your own makeup, and to have it done on set it is pretty special.
Mhm.
I mean, from what I heard, like that's how it was done, like the '80s and stuff. The '90s, like you would have a person on set for makeup, for wardrobe, and to have that again is pretty awesome.
It is, yeah, you don't encounter it very often. So
Yeah, definitely. And where did you wind up filming that for this?
um Dorothea, we shot at a really old historic house somewhere near downtown Los Angeles. And
Okay.
It's not like on the register of historic places or something, but truly it was kind of falling apart. And I think that's exactly the look that they wanted, where it was shabby, like she didn't have a lot of money because she took in, down and out people. And and there were actually people living in the house. This is what always amazes me. When we did Ed Kemper, it was a rental house in the San Fernando Valley that nobody lived in. The
Mhm.
owners used to live in the house, and then they bought the house right next door, moved into that, and rented out their old house for movies. So it's nice when it's completely empty and you bring in your own props and furniture and even the drapes and stuff like that. But for the Dorothea house, there were actually people living there.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, so, they'd be cooking and, um, living their lives while we're there shooting and trying to get around them. Chad and his crew did an amazing job of kind of rearranging stuff.
Yeah.
Like when I played Ruth Monroe and I rent one of the rooms, it was, I believe, the owner's bedroom, and
Oh,
they
okay.
completely redid it. They put a new coverlets on the bed and new curtains and knickknacks and stuff. It just looked completely different very quickly, and then they undid it.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It's just I love movie magic, like, and when you watch the movie, it's so convincing that you're really inside a boarding house and inside these people's rooms.
Yeah. Now, did they wind up cooking dinner for you? You said you had to work around them
No,
cooking like that.
they were cooking for themselves. Mostly, if we weren't shooting in the house, we hang out in the backyard. But it was kind of a bunch of artistic hippie types, and like
Yeah.
there was even an old abandoned school bus that some of the people lived in, and they had an outdoor kitchen in the backyard. So they would
Oh
come
my
out of the
God.
school bus and cook at the kitchen. So it was just kind of fun to watch everything. And there was like a stage area in the backyard. You could tell that they put on plays
Wow.
and things like that. So some very artistic people lived in this rambling old house.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like it.
And it's kind of hard to find old properties in LA because, we don't have that much history.
Yeah.
We don't go back hundreds of years unless you're looking at, friars and missionaries and stuff like that. Most everything was built after the 50s and beyond. So to find a house that was like from the early 1900s was amazing. And I just couldn't believe it when I saw it. And they needed a property that had a yard, which is also
Hmm.
rare in some Los Angeles places. Everything's paved over because she supposedly buries the bodies in the backyard and then plants
Yeah.
rose bushes over them. So we had to have dirt that they could dig in, and they managed to do that. So it worked out very well for them.
Oh wow. That actually sounds like a pretty cool place to stay at.
Yeah. And even there were other scenes. All of my scenes took place in and outside the house. But
Mhm.
the movie really opens up and goes to a lot of other places, locations. And there was one location that was supposed to be a boat rental place. And Joe Castro not only does practical effects, but he does visual effects as well. And so he put some boats around. He just added them in. And then she ends up lighting the place on fire. And the fire was all CGI because they couldn't really
Really?
burn down this place. So, yeah, it was an extraordinary scene. And the boats look so real. So I'm sitting next to Joe watching the movie, and he's like, "You see that boat? That wasn't really there. I put that in." I'm like, "Wow, that is so cool." And I'm
Oh
like,
my.
"The fire?" And he's like, "That wasn't there either. We just created the fire." So, and it's very convincing. So I'm telling you secrets here.
And is there I mean, of course, without giving a lot away about the film, but like, is there a certain scene that you like the most from this one?
I liked it when Susan, the lead actress playing Dorothea, would make these very brutal comments, but in a calm voice like that. Well, of course not. Your back is broken, And when she would look at the camera, breaking the fourth wall, and she's like, and it was that easy. And she really sold it. And those were the funniest moments because she just had exactly the right tone. She was so brilliant in it.
Oh, wow. Was there any cool stories from the set?
Well, Ginger Lynn was also in it. Ginger Lynn
Yeah.
Allen. She plays one of the victims. And it was fun to reconnect with her. I had seen her earlier at a convention we were both guests at. And she asked me if I wouldn't mind coming to her room so she could read me excerpts from her autobiography that she was writing. So I went over to her room, we opened a bottle of wine, and she had her laptop computer there, and she starts reading me chapters from her upcoming book. And
Hmm.
I can't wait to buy this book. Oh my goodness, the stories this woman has to tell, and it
Oh,
was like a lot of it in the 80s, sex, drugs, rock and roll, movie stars, and just incredible. So it was really fun to reconnect with her and say, how's your book going? And it's almost finished. I think it's called I Don't Look Good on Paper. Uh, yeah, so when it comes out, I'll be first in line to buy it.
oh, nice. And you've done so many like horror films, and now you're doing true crime films. And how do you get into a headspace to play a role in like a horror film, a true crime film? Like how do you get yourself ready for those kind of roles?
Well, I guess it's like any other movie. You just learn your lines and rehearse with yourself because they usually don't have group rehearsals. And the way I learn lines, and sometimes I have a lot of them, is there's a lake near my house, and I walk 3 miles there every morning, and I study my script of the pages of my scenes while I'm walking. And people must think I'm crazy, and because then I put the pages away and I'm talking to myself, trying to say the dialogue. And so many people talk to themselves because they have the phone, buds in their ear. And so I just kind of pretend that I'm talking on my phone, but the things I'm saying, like, uh, you can't kill me. I won't let you. I'll kill you first. So they're like, okay, steer wide around this woman. Mm.
Yeah.
I used to put it
You would definitely like second guess a person that's saying that.
Yeah, yeah. I used to write my lines when in the early days on index cards, and I would keep a stack in my purse. And when I was standing in line at the post office or the bank, I'd whip out my index cards and start saying my dialogue. And it was just the people around me in line. I tried not to spook people, but sometimes you just forget because you've got a task to do, and there's only so much time to learn these lines. And
Hmm.
often I'm, a lead in a script. So a lot of rehearsal. And then once I've got the lines down and I know them, then I start adding in inflection and body movements.
Okay.
What are my hands going to be doing on this scene? Am I holding something? And you always have to do it the same way each time for continuity, for cutting. So you have to be very conscious of your physical moves as well. And I'll say lines in different ways. I'll say it one way, say it another way, and try to figure out which way I like the best. So there's a whole huge process that goes into it. And I consider myself a true actress. I just happen to do horror movies because I love them and I got
Yeah.
pigeonholed into it very early. But that was my fate, to be a horror queen
Oh yeah, definitely.
icon. And
Yes.
I finally started getting Lifetime Achievement Awards. I've been doing
Nice.
a lot of shows and film festivals, and sometimes I know about it and sometimes they surprise me, but they'll give me some sort of Lifetime Achievement Award. And I love it because it makes me feel like my life hasn't been wasted.
Oh yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
because my parents were so disappointed in me. So, I'm real happy to be getting these awards and going, see,
Yes,
I won.
exactly. Exactly. And you definitely did, you made a mark in the horror world. Like you are a legend in the horror world. And I love horror, like horror conventions and horror fans, and it's just it's super cool because you think when you think of horror and horror fans, you think everyone's crazy and mental because they like watching that kind of stuff, but they're like the nicest group of fans, and even the actors that play in the horror films are the nicest people you could ever meet, and that's what I love about the horror world. Like everyone is like super nice and super cool.
Yeah, I do a lot of conventions and I love my fans.
Yeah.
I find that they're not only nice, but they're intelligent.
Yes.
For the most part, horror fans are really smart people. They may be a little misfit in one way or another, but really smart, knowledgeable, and they know all the facts about all different movies. And I can't even keep track of, Hellraiser 5, or whatever. I couldn't tell you what the plot was, but they know them all. So I really
Uh-huh.
admire that. It's a very completist sort of thing.
I mean, even with like your films too, that they probably tell you like every single line. You're like, oh, I forgot I did that.
Yeah, yeah. I had a fellow come up to me recently. I did Chiller Theater in New Jersey, and he came up to me and he started saying things. And it took me a few beats before I realized he was quoting my dialogue from a movie called Headcase. And he just
Yes.
liked that movie so much and watched it so many times that he'd memorized it. And so, yeah, he stood there quoting my lines from a film. I'm like, okay, thank you. Nice to meet you. But it's nice that people are passionate about things.
Oh yeah, definitely for sure. And when you aren't filming, like what do you like doing during your free time?
I'm almost always preparing to film or
Oh,
preparing
okay.
convention. I have very little free time because, like I said, I'm wardrobing this movie next month, and I'm in six different scenes, so there's six different wardrobe costumes. And then I try to give five or six choices.
Yeah.
So it's trying on my entire closet practically and to suit the scenes, learning a whole bunch of dialogue. Um, and then when I'm traveling to conventions, I have to restock my merchandise, reorder DVDs from a number of different sources, reorder photos, mail order. And get new product. Do travel reservations. I always book my own plane tickets because
Oh,
I don't want to get stuck with a red eye or something like that.
sure.
And following up on hotels. Boy, we had an interesting experience last weekend. Michelle Bauer and I flew to Chiller Theater.
Yeah.
And right now there's a government shutdown going on. And so a lot of workers, like TSA and so on, are not getting paid. And some of them are not showing up. So we're on a flight from Los Angeles to Newark. We get about 30 minutes outside of Newark, and the pilot comes on and he says, Newark Airport just shut down. So did LaGuardia because of a
Oh,
shortage of ground personnel. So the
oh my
pilot says,
God.
we're going to just circle for a while and see if they'll let us back in. So we circle for like an hour and a half. And the pilot comes back on and says, ladies and gentlemen, we're running low on fuel. So if
Mm.
they don't open up Newark, we're going to have to land in some other city soon. And Michelle and I look at each other like, what are we going to do? I mean, what if they land in, like Baltimore or someplace? Do they
Yeah.
do they give us a hotel for the night? Probably not. How do we get back to Newark? The convention starts tomorrow. Things like that. Well, it finally, shortly after he said that, they reopened Newark and we were able to land, but it was, 2.5 hours late at that point. So then I get to the hotel and twice I've reconfirmed my room, that I'm staying 3 nights, and arriving on Thursday. So I get up to the front desk at the hotel, and she says, "Oh, we have you checking in tomorrow, and we're completely full tonight." Okay, so there's moments like that where you just want to break down crying because you've already.
I know.
So Michelle's room, she had a room, but I didn't know what I was going to do. But finally she said, "Okay, okay, I found you a room." And it wasn't the room I had wanted. It was very small, and I had asked for a different type of room, but I took it and I stayed in it for the 3 days because they were completely full. So it was just way too much chaos for one trip. And
Yeah,
you
definitely.
usually don't have to go through that. Very rarely does that happen. But sometimes doing these shows is not easy. We got to show up and be personable and all that. And people have no idea sometimes what you have to go through just to be
Oh
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh
Yeah, it
my.
was a new one for me.
Wow. I by the time I got to the con, I would have been like so out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was tough. It all worked out okay, thank goodness. We didn't run out of gas.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the
it's a
fact
good
we
thing.
found me a place to sleep. But yeah, it was something. So, but it's my life. I like last year I did 8 movies and 8 conventions, and I've done about the
Wow.
same this year. So that's a lot of travel because most of my movies are in other states. A
Oh,
few are
okay.
in Los Angeles, but most of them involve travel. So 16 flights a year, that's sometimes, and then I also travel on vacations and things.
Yeah.
Uh, I love to just go places and visit friends and things. So that's my own leisure time traveling as well. So now I'm afraid to fly. And thank goodness I don't have any more trips. I'm driving to my next movie shoot. It's
Oh,
a
good, good.
5 hour drive, but I'm not flying. I'm taking my own car.
Yeah, yeah, because it's crazy right now. Like when I turn on the news, that's all I hear about is all these like planes not being able to get to where they have to go and waiting hours for a flight
Yeah.
that was supposed to happen. I mean, it's crazy right now.
I just this morning read that it was, I think, Houston Airport, or maybe it was DFW in Texas. And they said the security line was about 3 hours long
Woo.
to get through it because of a shortage of personnel. So to
Mm,
arrive early, but nobody arrives 3 hours early.
no.
So I'm sure a lot of people were very surprised. We can only hope that things get back to normal soon
Oh, I hope so.
before I have to fly again, please.
Halloween just came and went. Did you do anything for Halloween? Like, did you dress up or do anything?
Um, on Thursday, the 30th, I went to see Frankenstein, Del
Oh
Toro.
yeah.
Really liked it. His sets and his costumes are always so lavish, luxurious, lush. I love the look of his movies, especially the period pieces. And then on Halloween, I went with 2 friends to the Magic Castle in Hollywood, and it's decorated all for Halloween. And Wicked Wonderland was the theme this time. So they had
Nice.
this giant Alice in Wonderland, huge inside, going up the staircase like she had eaten, eat me, bigger, smaller, that thing. So that was really fun. A lot of people were in costume. So the Magic Castle, for those that don't know, is a private club in Hollywood that magicians belong to. And I am not a magician personally. I've never been sawed in half either, but I have friends who are magicians. So I was very happy to be there for Halloween.
Nice, nice.
And a lot
And
of my friends did the Day of the Dead celebration, which was this past weekend, November.
yeah, yeah, the day after Halloween.
Yeah. And downtown Los Angeles has a thing they do, and various places around Hollywood Cemetery, I think, does a procession, stuff
Oh
like that.
wow.
So I've never actually gone. I would like to, but for some reason I'm just exhausted after Halloween, It's because all the build up for it.
Oh yeah, of course.
I
I
used
mean,
to. I used to go to parties and I'd dress up and I'd greet trick-or-treaters at my
Oh,
door.
okay.
But we don't get trick-or-treaters anymore. That seems to be none in my neighborhood anyway.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they started doing trunk or treat, I think, where you go in a
Oh, I
parking
heard
lot,
about that.
kids get goodies out of car trunks.
I heard
That was
about
a
that.
little
That doesn't
sketchy
feel
to
good.
me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's right in there. Look, lean over. I've
That's like,
seen movies that start like that.
yeah, like the black phone, like the black phone was about that, like luring people into the truck. Like, no thanks.
Yeah. There's been so many good horror movies. It's wonderful that people are continuing to make them. And I think a lot of it's because they can be done on a fairly low budget and
Hmm.
they almost have a guaranteed audience.
Oh
So
yeah.
thank goodness we're in a good field.
Oh, definitely, definitely. That's like all I ever watch is like horror films. Like I absolutely love them.
Mhm. Yeah, I did on the return flight, I did watch Oppenheimer, which is a
Yeah.
different kind of horror film. Sort of true life horror. There was a meme about Frankenstein, it reminds me. It said, knowledge is knowing that Frankenstein and the monster are two different things.
Hmm.
Wisdom is knowing that Frankenstein is the monster. So it was kind of like that with Oppenheimer, where I could really feel for him as a scientist because I have a science background. But when you're dealing with unleashing forces like that, it's pretty scary.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And I know you have another one, so I'm gonna say the last question is where could fans follow you at, and if there's anything else you want to plug.
Oh, okay. Well, I have a half-hearted website. It's fan run, and they don't really keep it up the way I'd like. But I'm just too busy to deal with it. So it's brink.com. And I'm also on Facebook. I've tried to make my page public so anybody can see it. And then there's also two groups on Facebook. One's called Brinke Stevens, and the other is called the Brinke Stevens Appreciation Society. So other people made these for me. So I check in on those. So I'm on Facebook. I'm kind of on Instagram, but again, I forget that I have Instagram. I don't live on it. And 2 weeks will go by and I'm like, oh, I better check my messages. And sometimes it's invitation to conventions or film festivals. And I really have got to remember to check it more often. And Michelle Bauer finally, just this year, just a few months ago, got on Facebook and got on Instagram. I'm so proud of her.
Nice, nice.
It's just it wasn't my generation to do that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I just really forget that I've got Instagram. The technology thing.
Hey, it's not for everyone.
Yeah, I know some people live on their feeds. They post a lot of stuff, and I admire that. But I don't know. I don't want to take pictures of my food or photos of my butt in the mirror, which I've seen people do at the gym.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, no, it's a nice butt, but I wouldn't post that if I were you. Get you kicked off.
Yes, exactly. And no, you're absolutely right. Like you're watching, and you see like people putting what they had for dinner and the snack that they had before dinner. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like we care. We really care. Oh, you had a hamburger and French fries. Good for you.
I know exactly.
Never seen one of those before.
No, I have no clue what a hamburger is.
I'm glad you showed me. Yeah, I'm certainly not meaning to trash anybody. I'm just being very satirical here, but yeah, it's I don't live on social media.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on once again and doing this. Like
It
I
was,
always love talking to you. Thank
oh,
you.
thank you. Yeah, you make it really fun. The time goes so fast. And thank you for helping me promote Dorothea. I'm so excited about it. The fact that it's playing in theaters, and I think November 4th it'll be VOD on
Okay.
different streaming platforms.
Awesome. Well, I mean, you have to see this on the big screen. If it's playing in
Mhm.
a theater, that's anyone who's watching this, like if they see it's playing near them, definitely have to go see. It's better to watch it on the big screen than on your small phone or like a television.
It always is, isn't it? The big screen's so much better. I'm glad we still
Oh,
have movie theaters.
I know, I know. Like I love going into movies, like this, the sound, the atmosphere. Like
Yeah.
you can't beat like just sitting in the movie theater.
No, and you can't imagine seeing a movie like Del Toro's Frankenstein, watching it on your phone,
I know.
any little screen. You need the sound, the experience, the comfy seats.
Definitely,
I'm gonna
definitely.
recline now.
Well, I know you have to get ready for the next one. So once again, thank you so much for this. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.